the nearly historical railroad channel here on YouTube. So anyways, I think at the moment, I'm going to take a break from the pinball machine, also known as the underside of this staging yard. I'm gonna do a little bit of wiring over at Kenosha Pass, but it's not feeders and stuff. It's something kind of cool and unique. We've done it a couple other times. I was running trains a while ago, and I just kind of ran into this annoying kind of issue. So we've done it in other places. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here we go. Okay, we're looking at the standard gauge layout, and this turnout is the first place we had done this. So what the deal is this, although it goes into a lot of the layout, it is actually a reverse loop. And this is the beginning and the end of that reverse loop. And there are times when we want this turnout to automatically turn itself according to which way it needs to be for the train to go through the reverse loop. But then there are also times where we don't want it to automatically change, and we want to manually set it and be sure it's not going to change all on its own. So here is that turnout on our little control board. Okay, no making fun of our control board. It's older and we haven't rebuilt it. But that is the toggle switch, for that turnout. And what we've done is we put this in here, so if you switch this to manual, you can then control this the way you want and make sure it's going the way you want. Or if you switch it to auto, well then the reversing loop circuit will control it and flip this turnout back and forth. And this will do nothing now. This is quite handy. Here also over at Cimarron, we had this main line that will go across the lift out. But there's also a reverse loop in here, this curved track there. And both those share this turnout back here. That one back there. So that also goes into the reverse loop. So that's an auto or manual kind of turnout. Sometimes we want that to automatically flip for us, and sometimes we don't want it to move at all. Not real pretty, but here's the manual way to switch that turnout, and here's the toggle switch to switch it to manual kind of override. Then we can flip it here, or you can set it to auto and it will just do its thing on its own. Again, very useful. So here is Kenosha Pass, and up here we have a Y. The first turnout going into that Y, and the one that automatically flips back and forth, is that one right there. So this is only automatic. I have no control over it, unless maybe I programmed it with the right CV and I could do it that way. But a toggle switch is so much easier and quicker, and I know it's going to stay. So I was running trains the other day and I was like, man, I wish I could just flip that turnout, and I couldn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and wire that up so that I can have a manual override for that. That'll just make operation easier. I actually found a toggle switch that is already wired to be a reversing kind of circuit to be able to run tortoises. So that's a bonus. I don't have to wire all that up. And I also found this switch that we're not using, and it was half set up to cut power on and off on a section of track. So I'm going to show you how this gets wired up. Okay, so we have our PSX-AR auto reversing board. All right, there are two wires that come off of that run the tortoise. Right now, these just go straight to the tortoise. Ooh, that's a pretty bad drawing of a tortoise. There we go. So that just connects to those directly. So this, when it detects the short on the Y, it automatically flips the polarity on this and flips the tortoise. So that's fine until now. So what we need to do is we need to wire our little reverse switch. I'm not going to draw all that out right here, but basically cross that over. You have two leads coming off that way, and 2 leads coming off this way. So these 2 would go to the tortoise to reverse it, and this would go to the power source. This is not a good thing to be drawing on. So this would be the power source, goes through here, and this switch flips the polarity back and forth between here, and that would go to the tortoise and run the tortoise. So that's how you would do that normally. So now we want to be able to pick if we want to use this. We'll just say DC plus minus power source, and this PSX-AR as a power source. So really all we got to do is put another switch in here, double pull, double throw. This is the common, so the common is going to go up to the tortoise. I'm going to take that and go up to the tortoise. And then one power source is going to come from the PSX-AR, and one power source is going to come from the far end of our little reversing toggle switch here, like that. I'm actually kind of drawing this out so I remember how to do it myself. So now, if you flip this toggle switch to go this way, connect this way, this is the source and it's going out to there. This controls the tortoise. If you flip this the other way, this is the source, goes through here, and you determine which way the turnout goes, depending on which way this is switched, and that goes through here and up to there and controls the tortoise. This has no say in it anymore. So that is the way I need to do it. This toggle switch is already wired like that. So that's good. I got my 2 leads. One's the source, one goes to the tortoise, basically. Doesn't matter which one. And this is already halfway wired like that. So I just gotta wire this up, stick it on there, see what happens. I also may try to throw an LED in there so you know which way that tortoise is going. So this is the PSX-AR that we're using to run that tortoise and to control the Y. This wire here, that's what comes off and goes up to the tortoise to run the tortoise. Right now it goes straight to the tortoise, and we're going to intercept that, put our new circuit in. So here are some ancient hopper cars, showing you this for 2 reasons. The main reason is because of John. So John does garden railroading, G-scale stuff. And I think he's helping somebody else with a layout, and what they're going to do, John wants to cut these in half. These are HO scale, but he actually wants to cut them in half and shorten it, and he thinks it's going to make a perfect G-scale ore car, which I think that's a great idea. So the second reason I'm kind of showing you is obviously this has been painted. I remember this when I was quite young. I don't even think I don't know. I was probably like 13 probably or something. And I wanted to make a camouflage train. And that was one of the cars to that train. So that was quite a while ago. So it's kind of cool to see that. It's like, oh hey. But hey, maybe it will move on and become something else now. Alright. So I got the auto manual override switch all hooked up. I saved you all the gory details of all the soldering and little plugs and all that stuff, because I showed you how it got wired, so that's that. And I did add a light. Now since my dad's been working on fascia board and stuff, I was afraid to put any holes in it, so I just stuck my switches right here for the moment. Got a LED on there. The bottom switch switches from auto to manual, and the top one, when it's in manual mode, switches from diverging to, we're calling it straight, or D for downhill. So that is actually working. So we go to manual and switch it that way. So that's a bi-color LED light. And I just hooked it up onto the feeds that go to the tortoise with a resistor, of course. All right, so there's the turnout. There's the train. we're gonna go ahead and run that through the old reverse loop down at Morrison, bring it back down here, and we'll just make sure that things still work automatically here. Going straight through. The light is green. If it hits this mark, which is the red. And while we're here, you can see some of this rock looks a little wet. It's because my dad added a little bit more this week, a little more talus. I am going to try and paint this somewhat to get it to match my other stuff a little closer and to match the retaining wall a little closer. So I'm a little bit challenged and perplexed on how I'm going to do that, but we'll figure it out at some point. Okay, so this situation right now is exactly why I rewired this way. So we've come up Kenosha grade and we're going through the turnout to Morrison, which we've always been able to do before. But what we couldn't do is we couldn't stop here and now come back into one of these sidings on the Y, where there was just no way to turn that turnout. So now we can switch this to manual and it's green. So now it's going straight through there. We're going backwards, they're being brave. My little green passenger cars don't always stay on that great. But now we can actually back into here. Yay. That we've never been able to do before. So now, with the flip of a switch or two, I can do that. So it gives us more operation options. Oh, it actually coupled. That's pretty cool. So I wasn't really gonna say anything, but Phyllis and Clyde, I think they own that hardware store down there. Apparently they're into something a little more than people know about. So I wasn't gonna say anything, but I'm just gonna show you what I saw. What is that in there? Right past the bridge. I was out hiking around and I thought, hey, isn't that Phyllis and Clyde's car? And I looked and sure enough, there's Phyllis and Clyde. Looks like they're getting their car searched. Trying to get these lights going. These two end ones. They're on now. A little bit of a loose connection. Also up at our little tourist town, there's two lights up there. Only one of those was working. Now they're both working. That reminds me, we gotta name this thing someday. There you go. Drew a diagram so I could remember how to do it. Got that wired up. And that's so much better, being able to manually run that turnout. And I know you, like I said, I know you can like program it so you can do it through the controller. But I like the manual switch so you can just flip it. You know it's not gonna change on you or anything. It's just gonna be set. And I like the manual control of it. So anyways, that's it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. Oh, the train's coming on. Like it. Hit the little thumbs up. Smash the thumbs up button if you would do so. Ring the little bell so you get new notifications when new videos come out if you've subscribed. Alright, thanks for watching and all that. Maybe you learned something. Hopefully. Alright, see you later.
I got good intentions.